Hello and welcome to the conversation on the two county commission seats being vacated by Melanie Bell and Todd Dantzler, District 2 and District 4. And I'll introduce our candidates from my left to my right. On my left is Jim Booth and Martha Santiago, both Republicans facing each other in the August 28th primary, the successor facing Karen Welzell. To my right is Rick Wilson and Kat Gates Skipper, both Republicans facing each other on August 28th as well. Thank you all for attending today and taking your time out of a busy campaign schedule. Karen Wilson. I've solicited questions from the membership, and this is how this is going to roll. It's aggressive, but it's the best way to get to know the candidates. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer, and my beautiful assistant, Karen, here, has a yellow flag to wave politely with 10 seconds remaining and a red flag to wave violently at 2 minutes, and if you would then pass the microphone to your neighbor. And with that, let's get started. The first question, Jim, what do you consider to be the top issue this county faces and a possible solution?
I think the biggest problem that we've got coming down the pike is the roughly 300,000 people that they expect to move into the county in the next years. I don't know that there's a solution to that. We're going to grow the wall of Georgia, so that's not the issue. But it's going to cause problems with roads, water, reclaimed water, etc. It's going to take a coordinated effort. Polk County is not going to be able to afford to build that out of itself. So we're going to need some help from the county, from the surrounding counties, as well as from the state and the federal government. I have made a trip up to Tallahassee. I've talked to the people up there. They seem to be amenable to helping us out. The guys in DC turned out to not be running for re-election, so I really can't get a commitment out of them. Water seems to be working through a co-op. Although I would encourage, again, the state government to start building some desalination. Those are not going to be in Polk County, but they will provide some water sources for the entire state, and therefore will allow us to have some. But that's probably the number one problem that we face. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Yeah, infrastructure is going to be very, very important. With 1 million people predicted for Polk County by the year 2035, you can believe that that's going to be an issue for all Polk County, but especially for the northeast area, because they say, not me, that that's the fastest growing area in Polk County. So the roads are very important. Definitely water, and I'm glad to see that the Water Conservative Committee is already looking at suggestions for that. Also, one area that I think is extremely important that we really have to look at is the internet, the infrastructure for technology, because that's extremely important, not only for schools, because schools need that, but for businesses, because businesses we need to make sure we hit that button and the infrastructure is there for our technology. But definitely the growth, the infrastructure, the need to be able to provide the services for people that are coming are some things that are very important, which goes to the budget of the county. Connecting the budget, prioritizing, figuring out what can we do first, what's the most important thing. And prioritizing budget is one of my area of strength, because that's what I've been doing throughout my life.
Well, they pretty much hit on all the high points. I agree that we really need to face up to the fact that we have a huge population moving into Polk County, in particular in the northeast side. The growth is predicted with the numbers that they stated, and we need to, again, go back and look at our tax structure, how that affects the infrastructure. The roads, if you travel down US 27, which I do regularly, it's like I-4. Cypress Gardens Boulevard coming into the city and cutting across into this side of it is horrendous, and we really have to give some consideration to how we're going to pay for those roads, what tax structure we're going to have. In addition to that, One of the major concerns for me is our water situation. There are a lot of things that are happening that are being discussed in regards to drilling deeper wells into the lower aquifer. I have some concerns about that because I don't see that we're doing other types of recovery and that, to me, it seems like we ought to be looking at as well. Everyone talks about taxes, and we've gotten hit, and we're going to see a tax increase, property tax increase. My question is, why weren't we planning for this? We certainly couldn't be sitting back and not knowing that people. There's a whole conversation to be had about impact fees that haven't been enforced, and would have had some help with that. So I think the tax structure, addressing the growth in our county and the water issue.
Good afternoon, everyone. And got me on the clock. Good afternoon, everyone. You know, they basically hit on all of them. I mean, we've got a lot of issues in this county. If it comes to the infrastructure, the water, yes, that is true. But as Jim hit on, this county's growing unbelievable. Since 1980, our population. You know, we're banging around 700,000 right now. And in a few short years, they're saying a million plus. So we got to be ready for that. We should have been ready for it a long time. This is the thing, as our county grows, so does our. We have more red tape, we have regulations, we have more fees, and it gets pretty out of hand. I'm a business, and I've dealt with our city, state, federal, and county a lot. And we got a pretty good county. So that's why, you know, I've lived in this county all my life. But a lot of you people haven't. You came here because why? Because you like living. It's going to be up to us to make sure that we get things done right. I'm a guy that just uses common sense. I think out of the box. I can sit up here and talk with you about infrastructure, water issues, a lot of great things. Not great things, bad things that we're facing. We've got to keep this county headed in the right path. We've got to plan for stuff. I had a good friend of mine tell me, if you're not ready for the future, it's going to kick the door down. And so I'm here to work hard for you. And I've said this a few times, and I'm not talking bad about anybody or any county, but like I said, I'm a self-employed guy. I've been here self-employed for over 40 years. Sometimes when I look at our government, some of our issues, they would not no time in private sector because of the waste, the things. A lot of good things they do. We don't hear a lot about them, but we hear a lot about them. Thank you very much.
Wait for a reset. Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having us here. I love that Rotary clip because I'm from Lake Wells and I know the people in that clip. And I'm not going to repeat a lot of the stuff. I'm going to say I agree with everything that everyone up here has said today. Being from the east side of Polk County, we have a lot of things that go on that get unseen. I guess we're called the step, I'm going to tell you like it is because I'm a Marine. We're called the stepchild over in the east side. One of the things, of course, and you know, there's so much growth going in, being from the east side and the Four Corners, up there in the Poinciana area, you know, people are coming in here every day. So we've got to prepare for this, for our future generations. I was raised here, raised my family here. So, and being a veterans advocate, I know a little bit about how the government works in the national wise. I know a little bit about the local because I am a small business owner. So with that said, I think one of the important things we need to do is our municipality, our cities, we all need to work together. That's very important. They need to be heard. I go out there in the county all the time and I ask our people, what are your concerns? What are your wants? What are your problems? And that's important. People need to know that they need to be heard because they haven't been heard for a long time. They think they're just spinning wheels. So we need to get out there, we need to get our hands dirty, we need to get in the trenches and see what it is we can do for our county. Also the budget, I don't care, they can tell you budget's fine. Every budget has some fat in it. You've got to be very detailed. You got to get in there, you got to look at it. Being detailed, being a military, I'm definitely have a little bit of experience in that. So, again, I just want to say, thank you for having us here today. And so, with that said, I'm going to pass. Thank you.
Nope, keep the microphone. We're going to start at your end, Kat. Thank you. What is your position regarding the ballot referendum in this November asking voters to approve an additional $25,000 homestead exemption?
Well, my point on that is everybody wants the American dream. It's hard for some people to live that American dream. When they save, some of them save up half their lifetime, and taxes keep going up, and prices keep going up. So it's hard for some of these people out there to live that dream. We have senior citizens, we have veterans. This county is very big on both of those areas. And so a lot of them are on fixed income. You know what, I can sit here and say I'm not going to raise taxes, but I'm not the only one on the board. We want to do the best we can for our people in the county. So again, it's back to looking over the budget, seeing what we can do, what we can use to maybe prevent some of these things from happening. Now, I do agree with I've been out there again and asked people in the county how they feel about it. A lot of them like the idea of another $25,000 of the tax exemption. A lot of them are for that. Because even if they say $15, to some people, $15 is a lot of money. Okay, so that's important. So that's my stance. Thank you.
Everybody in this room likes to pay taxes, raise your hand. I don't see. Hey, this is going to pass, no doubt about it. And and what it's going to cost us. I've looked at the numbers on this. Originally they came out that it was going to be about $11 million hit the county. And I just got some stuff from Marcia on the subject, and right now we're getting on the county. It was like $7 million, 7 to 7. And right now, what I seen the other day, we're basically being that the price of houses going up, people are moving. The county, the numbers keep going up. So, like the county is almost a little over $9 million, what it's going to cost. The city, what's going to cost the cities is going up. So, it's the county will be okay. We'll get it fixed. When you lose $10, $12 million out of the budget, it's a hard deal. But when I go in there and look at saving money, it helps everybody. No different what cats $10 or $15 means a lot. That's why they need people in there that have dealt with big budgets, somebody that knows how to think out the box and make things happen. That's what I've done. We're going to continue on. The county's going to be great. So, on one side, I say it's a great opportunity, a great thing. The other side is not. So,
in the previous question, we talked about the infrastructure. If you continue to take away from your tax base, how are you going to maintain your roads, your library? All of the things that we come to appreciate and expect to be provided by our government, if they don't have the money to do that, where is it going to come from? It's my understanding that this homestead tax exemption will only apply to property that's valued over $2,000. Think about that. Is that going to help the people that were mentioned that Kat talked about, who are low income, who have lived in their homes for years, but the value hasn't grown? Those aren't the people that this will help the people $100,000. Think about that.
In looking at what the county is going to generate with both the tax base, with property going up in value and people coming in, it's predicted that we're going to bring a little bit over $9 million to the county. That's also the prediction of what we were going to lose for the tax exempt money if it passes in November. So with that being said, our county will continue to be able to move forward to provide the services that are needed in the county. Now, what's going to happen is what I said earlier. We're going to have to prioritize the needs of the county and figure out what is the biggest need and start from there. And thinking about also how else can we increase our revenues in the county? What else can we do? What innovation is out there that would allow us to generate some more revenue for our county? So with the growth and with the tax-based infrastructure that is tax base that is going up, it's going to be able to help move county forward regardless if the homestead exemption is approved or not.
First of all, I think it's nearly a foregone conclusion that the referendum is going to pass. It's the driving reason why a couple of weeks ago that you read in the paper that the Board of County Commissioners imposed a slight millage rate increase to support fire rescue and some building. Now those things are sunsetted, but it was a driving reason for that. This year, our estimated revenue into the county is $19 million more than last year. So we will recover from some of this. So maybe just a little bit of history here. What happened? When the Great Recession hit, the state authorized counties to raise millage rate to maintain revenue so they could maintain their services, and a lot of counties did exactly that. Polk County did not. Polk County reduced their budget by about a third. So they put a lot of things on the back burner. So they did that because recessions only last about 9 years. Well, except this one didn't. So there's a lot of things in the back burner that we were going to try to help recover. And now that the economy is coming back, we wanted to recover that. But because those counties that raised the millage did not back off the millage rate as their money came up, they're bringing in big bucks. So the state legislature basically said, well, you know what, if you're not going to play fair with the citizens, we're going to force you to play fair. That hurts Polk County, but the fact is that's what happened. So our county commissioners at the time made some decisions that I couldn't disagree with, but as we stand today, it's going to hurt us. So you're going to hear some discussion about that, and that's why the county commission that's there now has been pretty vocal. So I need you just to understand where we are, and we're right. It's going to be a stress on the budget because we've got this work backlog. So please stay with us.
Thank you. Polk County is facing big obstacles in delivering health care with fewer beds than the state average and fewer licensed health care providers. How can you, as a Board and County Commission, assist in supporting the health care services as the baby boomer generation continues to age?
Well, first of all, I want to thank most of the people in this room because the indigent health care was renewed last election. That would have been a real stressor. But because you did renew it, we've got money in that bank to help people that are disadvantaged. That goes up to about 200% of the federal poverty level income. So we've got some money to play with along those lines. We need to focus on trying to get healthcare units authorized in the county. It's a cumbersome method because it has to go up through Tallahassee. The best the county can do is to recommend it, put pressure on our legislators up there to wedge that through. But with the need statements and stuff that are required up there through the hospital administration, it becomes very cumbersome to get something done. I watched it done in Poinciana. We worked for over 6 years to try to get a medical center built in Poinciana. It was cumbersome. and it's all controlled at the state level. We need to get local politicians involved, and we need to get our local hospital people who become somewhat territorial to back off that territorialism and allow us to get that stuff in there. And we'll get the beds if we can get those off. Thank you.
Healthcare, indigent healthcare tax or petty tax that was approved by the people in the county is 89%. That says a lot about how much we care about our county, how much we care about our people. I think that's very important. I think what we need to really be careful as county commissioners is to make sure we have an advisory group to make sure the oversight of that committee is really doing their work to make sure that money is spent where it needs to be spent, so we can make sure that our people have the health care that they have. Another area that I think paramount in our county is to work with nonprofit organizations. There are so many nonprofit organizations in our county that are working hard to be able to meet the needs, health needs, mental health needs of our community. That's important. I've worked with these organizations. We have volunteered, we donate money, we help to make sure that the health services are provided or they can get to the health services that they need. That's very important. That's something that I will, not only as a commissioner do, but also as a private citizen of Polk County, that I would do to make sure that we continue with that. And then also work with our hospitals, our daycare, Lakeland Regional Hospital, all these hospitals, work with them to make sure that we can help them out as best as we can so that they can provide the health care that they're needed. For example, Winter Haven Hospital is now a teaching hospital where they're bringing more physicians in so that people can have a physician that they can go to. We're lacking a physician, so we need to work to recruit more physicians to come into our area.
I think we're missing a point here. That point being, we need to attract jobs, industry, manufacturing, that brings a wage that people can live on, that people can have health. Building more McDonald's and more Wendy's and more Taco Bells is not the answer to that. As a commissioner, we need to make sure that we are incentivizing companies to come to Polk County, to bring high-wage industry and jobs and hire our residents here. People want to, but they have to be able to have jobs that pay a decent salary, that provide access to health care benefits, so that they're not showing up in the emergency room with no insurance, which then puts the cost back on us. That's where we have to start, and that's the job of, in my opinion. Yes, we are short on physicians in parts of our county. We are short in hospitals and medical healthcare units, freestanding units. But the bottom line is we have to be able to have employment for our citizens who can afford the insurance premiums, the co-pays, all of those things to be able to access the health care that we provide them.
You know, you get right down to it, you've heard what they said, this is a tough subject. We have a half cent and quite a bit of money. But, I think it gets back to we need more beds, but what we getting working with different get it spread across and get more partners involved. So she said a very good scenario that, you know, we get good jobs. We cut some of the taxes and fees and regulations out. Our businesses that are in this county, existing businesses, grow and help businesses come to this county. Want to make a home here. How do we do that? We've all said it. The taxes and fees and regulations on anybody. It's a very tough situation. As you look around, there's a lot of different ideas. At the end of the day, you take care of people. They can't take care of themselves. That is the point. There's always can be a better way to do it. Somebody else can tell you how to not. Just gotta work with what you got and make it better. And if you do that, we got a lot of great people. I've toured some of the facilities. They do us outstanding. But in the day, $20. We do that. We'll start making.
Well, one of the things is I suggest is that, first of all, we all work together, teamwork. Being military, that's very important. Okay? No matter from Tallahassee all the way down. So you've got to work together. Also, why not use the resources we already have? Such as, as I go across the county, I see a lot of abandoned buildings, a lot of older businesses, or businesses that are no longer just empty. Some of them are owned by the county, some by the state. So my thing is, use what you have. Don't try to spend more money. So use your resources. Another thing I noticed over the years is that we don't have enough senior daycares. I remember when my mother back in the 80s having cancer, Haines City was a very good one. They had a multi-purpose senior citizen building there, and they did all kinds of things. And with the growing number of seniors and veterans we have, I think we should have something like that again. Use what you already have. It's called your resources. And maybe with the with the VA, and maybe there's an opportunity there that we can combine some buildings, or use some go to nonprofits and stuff. So there's a lot of opportunities here. You just gotta reach out and grab it. That's my opinion. Thank you.
And as we wrap up, I do want to thank Karen again for the time. And I want to thank each of you for sharing your passion for Polk County by committing yourself to public service. If you can take 2 minutes in closing to tell us why you consider yourself more qualified for this office than your opponent.
Well, first of all, I don't like to talk about nobody, okay? I'm not a politician, I'm a concerned citizen. What I will tell you about myself is, I'm a proud United States Marine Corps veteran. I served for 20 years in this country. I was an immigrant. I was born overseas, and I became a naturalized citizen 3 years old. I've been in Polk County since I was a small child. I raised my family here, now my grandchildren here. And I'm a small business owner. And the reason I'm running is because people want me to run. They're out there saying, we have no representation on the east side of Polk County for so long. They trust in me. They respect me. That they want to be heard. That's probably the most important thing, is our people want to be heard. They feel like that they're lost. They feel like their voice and their vote doesn't count. So I'm a grassroots person. So I've been out there, I've been in the trenches, and I'm out there asking our county people, what is it, our citizens of the county, what can we do for you? We need to realize that we work for them. They don't work for us. Thank you.
As I said earlier, this is my home. I have been very blessed. I've lived in Bartow all my life. Married my wife 37 years ago. I raised my children in this county. I'm watching my grandchildren grow up. So I've been self-employed for over 40 years. My background is construction, manufacturing, sales, citrus, and cattle. I cover it all. I've been very blessed. What caused that was hard work. When I decided to do this, I didn't come here, but I came here to help the people. Because I've dealt with our county over the years, and I've Seen a lot of things that could be done better. So I'm just, I'm a business guy that looks at things, open mind, hard work, common sense. Something my daddy taught me a long time ago, what's right's right. So I'm looking out for the people in this county. I hear a lot of things that people come to me, what about this, what about that? I agree. Or if I don't agree, I'm gonna tell you. I'll try to tell you why I disagree. But, and like Kat said, I'm not down on anybody, but why, you ask why? I've been in business a long time. I've been very blessed. I've worked hard. And I will continue to do that. We got to make this county a better. And I can say, I will work hard for you. I will be the man. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to present ourselves here. We're all on. So I would just like to give you a really brief introduction to who I am. In 2013, the Polk County Commission was pulling together their efficiency commission. I was nominated and selected to serve on that. We took 2 years of very intense surveys and working with a company that came in and did our bidding. We asked questions. We wanted to know how the county commission, the county administration operates, and are they being efficient and good stewards of our taxpayer dollars. It was a very interesting 2 years of my life. I'm very glad that I was able to do that, but it's given me the experience and the backhand knowledge to understand going into this position what it requires and what we need to know about managing Polk County. Saying that, I am also, in my private life, I was a corporate human resource director. I started my HR experience in Haines City. Many of you may remember Greenleaf Golf and Tennis Resort. At its prime, I was there in the Human Resource Department. I went and was recruited from there, was an HR director in Ocala, Florida, and then became a corporate HR director in Washington, D.C. Very exciting times to be up there. And the one thing that I learned being in DC was to really, really appreciate the diversity of the people that worked in the company that I helped manage. I bring that knowledge and diversity back to Polk County and will appreciate your consideration for a vote for Karen Wells in November.
For 39 years, I've lived in Polk County. Moved here in 1979. From the first day that I moved here, I've been very active in our county. In fact, they say, tell me what you've done and I'll tell you what you will do. I have rolled up my sleeves and I've worked for the people of Polk County. I will continue to do that, excuse me, in a different capacity, and it's my home. It's where my family, raised my family, my 2 children who are actively involved in our community. And it's now where I have the pleasure of raising, or helping to raise grandchildren because they live like 5 minutes away from me. So Polk County is my home. I bring proven leadership skills, over 30 years of leadership skills I bring to the county commission. I bring extensive community and civic engagement, and I have strong values that would help when we make decisions and when we need to move forward. In other words, I will work to make Polk County the very best county that it can be. I've been doing that, and I will continue to do that. So I ask for your vote if you haven't already voted. Some of you probably have, but August 28th is the last day that you can vote. I ask that you vote for me, Martha Santiago, for me to be your next county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. So what kind of character and characteristics do you want in your county? Please think about that. What do I bring to the table? I spent 26 and a half years in the Navy. I commanded 2 nuclear-powered submarines. So I bring some leadership that's been demonstrated, proven, and since they gave me a second command, obviously I don't think I screwed up. I did not retire as an admiral, so you know that I'm politically incorrect. So I bring some leadership. My last job in the Navy, I was a program director with over $1 billion budget. I know how to manage. I know how to build teams. I know how to hire people. I know how to fire people. I've been going to every county commission meeting for the last 10 years. I've watched what's going on in the county. I was on the Board of Adjustments for 6 years and was a chairman of it. I have paid attention to what's going on. No, I have not lived here my entire life. This is my 20th move. The Navy tends to move you around. But if you have to change your driver's license 20 times, you get an impression of what counties do things well and what counties don't. My breadth of experience is broader than anybody else here. I inspected as a safety inspector 75 nuclear power plants. I have attention to detail. I look at the budget. How many of you here, for example, know that the county commission gives money away to 501c3 organizations every year? Okay, I'm not talking about partnerships. I'm talking about giving money away. Now, they're all worthy. They're all worthy organizations. Don't misunderstand me. And I hope you all pursue it. I just don't think that you want to tax me for it. So, if you want that, when you go in the booth, vote booth.
Thank you. This race will be decided on August 28th. This is important. And Martha and Jim face each other August 28th and then decided in November. And they're both county-wide races. And bam, check out the time. It's 1 o'clock.